Imagine a hazy evening in the midst of a bygone era. The air carries a certain nostalgia, a delicate melody that whispers of a time when love was both fierce and tender. And then, like a sepia-tinted dream, you find yourself in the dimly lit embrace of a cozy living room, the flicker of a vintage television casting its warm glow upon you. It's your very first encounter with the 1973 classic, The Way We Were. In that suspended moment, you are transported to the world of Katie and Hubbell, their lives intersecting in a turbulent dance through the pages of history. Barbra Streisand's haunting voice serenades your senses, and Robert Redford's charismatic charm captures your heart. You feel the bittersweet ache of a love that defies the odds, set against the backdrop of a nation in flux. As the movie unfolds, you may recall that tender scene at the college campus, where Hubbell gazes into Katie's eyes, and the world seems to stop spinning. Or perhaps it's the heart-wrenching goodbye, the rain-swept New York streets echoing the pain of a love torn asunder. The Way We Were etches itself into your memory, a tapestry of emotions that lingers long after the credits roll. But now, let's peel back the layers and unveil some intriguing, behind-the-scenes tidbits about this cinematic gem. Did you know that Barbra Streisand not only starred in the film but also produced it, proving her prowess both in front of and behind the camera? And speaking of Streisand, her iconic rendition of the theme song became a chart-topping hit and earned her an Academy Award for Best Original Song. Furthermore, the film's portrayal of political and social upheaval in the 1940s and 50 seconds serves as a poignant reflection of its era, resonating even in today's world. So, whether it's your first rendezvous with The Way We Were or a cherished memory, this film continues to weave its magic, transcending time and place. It's a timeless reminder that love, with all its complexities, remains etched in the annals of history. In the 1973 movie The Way We Were, there were some interesting behind-the-scenes details that shed light on the making of this classic film. One notable aspect was Barbra Streisand's initial resistance to singing in the movie. It was Ray Stark who persuaded her to lend her voice to the soundtrack, a decision that ultimately contributed to the film's success. Another intriguing aspect of the film's production was Robert Redford's dissatisfaction with the cuts made to the movie following a preview screening. Redford had expressed a preference for a more politically charged script, but director Sydney Pollack insisted that the core of the story was a love affair. Redford eventually trusted Pollack's instincts, and the film leaned more towards the romantic angle. Sydney Pollack, in his director's commentary, defended the changes he made to Arthur Lawrence's original script. He argued that Lawrence's script was overly focused on political messaging, and that the character of Hubbell was one-dimensional. Pollack believed that both lead characters, played by Streisand and Redford, needed to be equally matched to create a compelling drama. In the end, The Way We Were became a beloved romantic drama, thanks in part to these behind-the-scenes decisions and compromises. It remains a classic in the world of cinema, offering viewers a poignant exploration of love and politics during a tumultuous time in American history. In the 1973 movie The Way We Were, directed by Sydney Pollack and starring Barbra Streisand and Robert Redford, there's an interesting contrast in acting approaches between the two lead actors. Streisand, who played the role of Katie Morosky, preferred a meticulous and analytical approach to her character. She would spend hours discussing and rehearsing her part, delving into the nuances of her role. On the other hand, Robert Redford, who portrayed Hubbell Gardiner, had a more spontaneous and intuitive style of acting. He believed in being in the moment and preferred less rehearsal and discussion. This fundamental difference in their acting methods created a unique dynamic on set. According to director Sydney Pollack, Streisand would often call him late at night, dissecting the next day's scenes for hours. She thrived on detailed preparation. Meanwhile, Redford felt that excessive discussion and rehearsal made his performance feel stale. As Pollack puts it, Bob would want to do it, and Bob felt the more the talk went, the staler he got. This difference in approach posed a challenge for Pollack, who had to find a way to balance their contrasting methods. He had to time the camera rolling just right to capture the best performances from both actors. It was like being a jockey trying to synchronize their acting rhythms. Ultimately, despite these differences, Streisand and Redford's on-screen chemistry in The Way We Were remains a memorable part of the film's charm. Their distinct acting styles contributed to the complex and passionate relationship between their characters, Katie and Hubbell. This behind-the-scenes insight into the actors' approaches to their roles sheds light on the creative process that went into making this iconic 1973 film. In the 1973 movie The Way We Were, there's an interesting tidbit involving Robert Redford and Barbra Streisand. During an interview, Redford was asked what Streisand was wearing in bed the first time they made love in the film. Redford's witty reply was, "Only Chanel no." 5. Another noteworthy aspect of the movie is the exchange between the characters Hubbell and Katie. Arthur Lawrence, the writer, fought to keep the line, "I want us to love each other." Hubbell's response, "The trouble is we do," was significant to Lawrence, as he believed it summed up their relationship. They loved each other despite their differences, not because of them. However, to Lawrence's dismay, director Sidney Pollack ended up cutting the line. Lawrence claimed that Pollack, despite directing a political love story, knew little about love or politics. Interestingly, the role of Hubbell Gardiner was originally offered to Warren Beatty, but it eventually went to Robert Redford. These details shed light on some intriguing behind-the-scenes aspects of The Way We Were, a film that continues to be celebrated for its portrayal of love and politics in a tumultuous era. In the 1973 movie The Way We Were, directed by Sidney Pollack, and starring Barbra Streisand and Robert Redford, there's an interesting tidbit about the film's prologue. Sidney Pollack decided to include a prologue before the main titles and theme song. The reason behind this choice was that Pollack didn't want Barbra Streisand, a renowned singer, to be introduced to the audience first as a singer rather than as the character she portrayed in the film. The prologue allowed the audience to see Streisand in a different light before her singing talents took center stage. It set the tone for her character and the story, emphasizing her acting skills over her singing prowess. Additionally, it's worth mentioning that Dalton Trumbo made an uncredited contribution to the script of The Way We Were. Trumbo, a talented screenwriter, was known for his ability to enhance scripts subtly. While his contribution may not have been widely acknowledged, it undoubtedly added depth and nuance to the film's storytelling. As for Peter Bogdanovich, he turned down the opportunity to direct The Way We Were and later regretted his decision. This decision might have had a significant impact on the film's direction and overall style, as each director brings their unique vision to a project. In conclusion, The Way We Were holds interesting behind-the-scenes details, such as Sidney Pollack's prologue decision, Dalton Trumbo's uncredited contribution, and Peter Bogdanovich's regrettable choice to decline the director's chair. These aspects shed light on the film's creation and the creative decisions that shaped it. In the 1973 movie The Way We Were, one interesting tidbit is that it marked James Woods' first film appearance, although it wasn't the first film he did that was released. Woods went on to become a well-known actor in Hollywood, but The Way We Were was his initial step into the world of cinema. Another noteworthy aspect of the film came to light during a 2012 interview with Robert Redford. He admitted that Barbra Streisand developed an off-screen crush on him as they filmed, which added to the convincing romantic tension between their characters, Katie and Hubbell. Redford, while not reciprocating her feelings, recognized Streisand's magnificent performance and decided not to let anything interfere with it. To maintain professionalism, he chose to pretend he didn't notice her crush, contributing to the on-screen chemistry. The movie also features some real-life locations. The college scenes were filmed at Union College in Schenectady, New York, with the distinctive Knott Memorial Building making an appearance. Additionally, the restaurant scene where Robert Redford and Barbra Streisand's characters first meet was shot at the old Medbury Hotel in Ballston Spa, New York. These details add interesting layers to the history of The Way We Were, offering a glimpse into the behind-the-scenes dynamics and the choice of locations that brought the film to life. As we bid adieu to this cinematic journey through the unforgettable world of The Way We Were, we find ourselves standing at the crossroads of nostalgia and emotion. This 1973 masterpiece, with its evocative storytelling and magnetic performances, has left an indelible mark on the tapestry of our hearts. As you reflect upon the timeless tale of Katie and Hubbell, I invite you to delve into the recesses of your own memories. Did this film ignite a spark of recognition in your own life? Perhaps it evoked memories of your first love, a bittersweet encounter, or a moment of poignant reflection. The Way We Were has an uncanny ability to draw us into its world, allowing us to see fragments of our own stories within its frames. Now it's your turn. Share with us your favorite memories, thoughts, or insights that this film has stirred within you. What resonated most profoundly? Was it the power of love, the complexities of relationships, or the enduring melodies of the soundtrack that struck a chord? Your perspective is a unique brushstroke on the canvas of this cinematic masterpiece. Thank you for embarking on this cinematic journey with us, for sharing your thoughts, and for keeping the spirit of The Way We Were Alive. Your connection to this film enriches the tapestry of its legacy. Until our next cinematic adventure, remember that the beauty of life often lies in its imperfections and in the cherished memories that make us who we are. Warmest regards and gratitude for your time and interest.